Share insight on They will be sharing insights on what judges look out for during contests, right? It's not enough to just know how to walk around the stage or what to say, but sometimes it's important to know what did they really look out for. I did so well. Why didn't I win? So it will be shedding some light on that bit. So please welcome our speaker, our first speaker for tonight, Toastmaster Winston P. Equal to DTM, with all of the virtual emojis that you can find.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
I don't feel
evening.
like I'm welcomed. I'm not getting any emoji at all. Did I offend anybody?
Maybe we should just end the whole thing. They're not interested.
Nobody is even saying anything. All right. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Oko Agada. This evening, it's my pleasure to be here with you to speak to you. I wasn't quite sure why I was invited here, considering the fact that Division E and Divisions E and U, I beg your pardon, are in the race as well for producing the champion of District 94 once again. And we have done that consistently for a while now. So you will not expect that I will share every secret with you, because I also hope that I would reserve some for the contestants of Divisions E and U so that they can once again win. So I would be very economical with my sharing this evening. I've titled my talk this evening, Winning the Hearts of the Judges. I don't have any slides to show you. It's going to be a conversation. I want us to take down notes and please ask questions. I would try to make my own bit of the presentation short so that I could hear from you and take questions. So let us start by asking, how many of us here have actually served as a judge in any contest? You could just drop on a chat box or you could use an emoji. How many of us here who has served as a judge on a contest before? Anyone? No one. Toastmaster Joy, you've served on it as a judge before? Okay. Is there any other person? Oh, thank you, Toastmaster Fumi, Toastmaster Ayotola. Awesome. Now, as a judge, the first thing you would recognize is that you are part of the contests. You're part of the audience. Now, the judges, I'm now speaking to the contestants here. You should recognize that the judges are like your members of the audience as well. And there are several things that would also excite them as much as they would excite the people who are there to listen to you. Speech contests, for the contestants, it's a contest. To the people who are watching, it's a form of entertainment. So what it means is that people are there to get entertained. It's like coming to watch a movie where you are the only actor, you are the person who is directing, you're also the person who is responsible for all the actions, you're also the producer. So what that means is that you should set out to entertain the audience at the same time you are educating them. That is why some people have famously coined the phrase edutain, which means you are educating as well as entertaining. And when you are educating as well as entertaining, one of the first things you need to get is a story that is compelling and a story that people can relate with. That is the first and the most basic. Once you have a story that people can relate with, you have already gotten yourself warmed up to the audience. So the story you are bringing up, it may not be entirely true, it may not be entirely yours, but it should be something that people can relate with. If you look through or if you watch most of the contests, the championship speeches, you will find that so many people can find themselves in that story. So many people can see themselves in that story as though the thing that the person was talking about could happen to them. And so when you are preparing a speech as a contestant, you should recognize that the members or the people who have been assigned the task of judging that contest also want to listen to a story that they can relate with. Once you have that sorted, the next thing you want to be mindful of is to ensure that that story is not so predictable. We all know some genres of movies where you can almost predict the end from the beginning. And so many people don't like that. There should be some degree of suspense. We should have some intrigue, some twist. Now, I've had the privilege of working with people who are contesting or taking part in a speech contest. And I tell them, your speech should be like a wave. There should be parts of the speech that elevates the mood of the room, and then you should have a part that brings down the tempo. And people start thinking, people start wondering, people start pondering. And just as you are letting people ponder, you immediately take them back. So your speech should have that flow. Remember, entertaining speeches have elements of humor. So just as you will have an evaluation that has commend, recommend, and commend, I would say your speech should have humor, sadness, humor. Because when you do that, what you find is that the judges have a part where they are looking out for the engagement of the audience. And for many of them, the engagement of the audience is that ha 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 that they are getting, or that, oh my God, that they are getting. And you also find as well that the championship speeches have elements of engagement vis-a-vis asking rhetorical questions. These are all parts of engagement. But the best of them are the ones where you cannot accurately or effectively predict what's coming after that. So as a contestant, you also want to ensure that during your contest, during your speech, you are taking people through the different phases of emotion. There is that phase of excitement and laughter. There is that moment, or there should be that moment when they are like, oh no. And then you take them back to that point as you are trying to give the message and having them learn from it. Now, we would also recognize as well that as you progress through the Toastmasters contest, the different levels, you find that you have more speeches that tend to sell the brand of Toastmasters, directly or indirectly. Let's look at the speech of Dhananjaya Hatharachi. I think it's the most popular. You find that in that speech, he was selling the benefits of Toastmasters. Some of the best speeches I've found are speeches that have enshrined or embedded in them the benefits of personal development, personal growth, overcoming personal challenges, and leadership. So you also want to ensure that in the course of your speech that you are selling the brand in a positive light. Trust me, these are things that the judges kind of look out for. These are ways that you win the hearts of judges. Now, there is also a debate on the use of props. Many people believe that every contest speech should have a prop. And interestingly, we have found in recent times that most or some of the recent championship speeches or the recent first place speeches are speeches that were delivered without prop. The one for 2023 by, I think, Jocelyn Tyson, she was the prop. For 2022, the Nigerian chap, he was the prop. Mohammed Katani only used a cigar at the start of his speech. The rest of the speech was delivered without a prop. Mark Hunter also delivered his speech almost without a prop. So yes, the prop is there to enhance your speech, but I would not be too fixated on the need to use a prop as much as I would on the need to ensure that someone in the audience is able to find himself in my story. And the outcome of my story can inspire someone. So where it is appropriate for the prop to enhance the message, by all means, use it. But I would not be too fixated on the prop because there is no part of the judge's ballot that focuses explicitly on the use of prop. Another major thing that gets the audience or gets the judges excited is when they see, remember I mentioned that you are acting a movie and movies have different characters. Sometimes movies have different parts. When I mean different parts, I mean if today you are in the house, tomorrow you are in the car, next tomorrow you are in the office. They want to see that on stage. So we have what we call stage blocking. I always advise when you go on stage and you're telling a story, for example, about your life. You started off at work, you went home. On stage, there should be a place that is almost like home. So when you're moving to the office, we should see that movement on stage to a different part of the stage. That is what we refer to as stage blocking. So you don't want to have to deliver the speech from one spot. At the same time, you don't want to wander to and fro on the stage. The movements are purposeful to show that you are leaving one point of your life to another point. So you want to ensure that when you are on stage and you're talking about yourself as a child, you are on one part of the stage. You want to talk about yourself as an adult, you move to another part of the stage. Closely following stage blocking is switching of characters. You are talking to your colleague. One should see that you are facing a particular direction where your colleague is. And when you want to tell us about the response of your colleague, we should see that you have moved to this side and you have changed your voice. When you're doing that, you would realize, even though you don't know who the judges are, but some people are nodding, and as they're nodding, they are increasing the marks that they would have allotted to you for speaking appearance or appearance as it is on the ballot. So if you're able to do this, I assure you, you would score good marks in that aspect of the presentation. Now, let's not forget, when you look at the judges' ballot, that's why it's also important that when you're practicing for a speech, as I'm speaking specifically now about the speech contest, when you're practicing or you're taking part in a contest, spend some time to look at the judges' ballot. You would notice that 50% of the marks are allotted to content, which speak to the speech development, the effectiveness of the speech, and the value of the speech. Value, yeah, the thoughts there, but most importantly, I kid you not, what they are looking out for is, hey, do I see myself in this story? So what it also means is that when you're selecting a speech, you are speaking, for example, to a Nigerian audience, the story should be one that a Nigerian can relate with, not one that is alien to the Nigerian citizen. When you progress through your journey and perhaps you have now emerged as the district champion, you can't deliver speeches and still target them to a Nigerian audience when you would be delivering that speech in Los Angeles or Chicago. So what it means is that at that moment, even the examples you're giving have to be ones that the people over there can relate with. It means that the thoughts that you string together will be ones that those people can relate with. And when you are able to block your stage properly, the second leg or the second, not a quarter now, the second part of focus, which is delivery, which looks at the physical, the voice, and the manner. Once you've blocked your stage and you're switching between characters, automatically it will be seen that you are making effective use of the stage and the speaking area, and you are also varying your vocal. Once you sort these two aspects out, the third one, sometimes it is beyond your control. What do I mean? Correctness, grammar, pronunciation. Some of us have natural mother tongue interference. And no matter how hard you practice, sometimes it will just not hide itself. It will show that you are indeed a Yoruba person or an Igbo person. And also, there could be some bias. I once met Philip Campani. I think he placed second in 1995 at the Championship for Public Speaking. He's of Indian descent, even though he's British. And he said to me, he was upset because he was placed second behind Mark Brown. And in his view, he believes he came second because the judges and most of the members of the audience at that contest were American. So for them, they could relate more with the accent of Mark Brown than with his own British accent. Now, this is an Englishman because I've met him several times. I relate with him and I know he speaks like a British man, even though he's of Indian descent. But this is an Englishman who is complaining about how the Americans could hardly understand what he was saying. So I'm saying this just to buttress the fact that sometimes, regardless of how much you practice, grammar, pronunciation may still be an issue depending on the audience. But if you're able to get the other parts sorted adequately, you may not suffer so much as a result of people's ability or inability to decode what you are saying, as long as you have acted out what it is you want to say. I would like to stop here at this point and take some questions just to be sure that I am not speaking to devices alone. So let's take a breather here. Master Ayotola, are you in the room?
Yes, I'm in the room. Thank you very much. I have my note full. Okay, so do we have any question? Okay, I think that Toastmaster Tutu left a comment. What? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, that's not a comment. All right. So, any questions? Questions in the comments. I'm waiting for questions. Champions, ask question. Me, I don't know the answer. Nobody should come and ask me later, please. Oh,
I have a question.
awesome. Please go ahead.
I'd like to thank you so much, Toastmaster Winston, for the wealth of knowledge you have shared with us. So my name is Toastmaster Ebube Monde. My question is, by adventure, I have mastered a particular topic. And let's say this topic got me to win my club level, area level, and I just kept winning because of this topic, because I have mastered it. And I know that if I shift based on another topic, the chances of me getting to win may not be there. What would you suggest really to me when I have to speak with another audience? Let's say, yeah, you made reference of a speaking session that has to relate with the Nigerian audience. And let's say I get to the district level and I know that if I go with this topic, I'm going to win. What could you suggest in that scenario? Thank you so much. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster Ebube, for that question. It's a very good question, and I know people who have had to face this particular situation. My advice to you, if you had that kind of scenario play out is, I'm glad you said topic. So when you say topic, what it means or what it sounds like to me is that you have a story at the back of your mind, or a story that you have told with some lessons from that story. Now, if you told that to your club, the examples that you will give would be ones that your club can relate with. If you had characters in there, you could use Ada, you could use Nwaobi, you could use Ayotola. So these are characters that they could relate with. If you were to give examples of places, you could say Oshodi. You could use examples that they can relate with there. Now, if you were to deliver that, assuming you moved to the district, and you were mentioning some names or names of places, the audience may not understand. The audience may also not be able to relate. Someone who is talking about, for example, traffic in Lagos, if you now moved to FCT, some people in FCT don't understand what you mean by traffic. Or let me use another example. When someone says a place is too far, I think some of us in Lagos, when we come to Abuja and you tell me you are in Asokoro and I'm in Kubwa, and I tell you, I know that's too far. You say, how many minutes? I say 20 minutes. To someone in Lagos, they're saying 20 minutes is not far now. So I don't know if I'm able to communicate there. The examples just depend, is what will make that difference. So you could take that same story and then maybe you're delivering a speech in New York or in Los Angeles. The examples you would now give would just have to be one that those people can relate with, even though it's the same story. So you switch the names of the characters, switch the names of the places, switch the names of some things, but it's the same topic, it's the same story. What you're trying to do is just to ensure that you are able to communicate. Remember, communication is not just you speaking, it is the people understanding what you're saying. It's a two-way street. So you just want to ensure that whatever you're saying, the people can relate with it, even though it's the same topic, even though it's the same story. We've seen in the past some movies. There was when I used to watch a lot of Nollywood movies. I know there was a particular remake of Lion King done in Nigerian setting with Pet Edochie as the King Lion. I think it was Gentle Jack who was Simba. So the same story, the same storyline. It's just that the characters were ones that we could relate with. So I believe that you can have the same and still achieve the same results. I hope I've been able to respond to that question satisfactorily to Mr. Ebube.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, do we have any other question? Anybody? Okay. If we do not have questions, it means that everyone is just ready to crush Division E and U at this contest, because I cannot have it happen again that we hear that Division E or U wins at the district. So please promise me that this is what is going to happen. Thank you very much, DTM Winston. you dropped gems tonight, and some of what I put down, you talked about during our speeches or speech to spotlight the Toastmasters brand. That's one of the things that might just sway the judges a bit. You talked about not necessarily needing a prop. I mean, some people will disagree to say almost all champions use a prop, no matter how little. But he said not necessarily needing a prop. I still struggle with that because I feel that okay, what if it's just something little? Because even as little as that cigarette, it's still something. Like although I did not see the other ones that you said they didn't use a prop at all. But yes, you also talked about stage blocking and switching up characters, then transitions. Make sure your story takes us from a low to high or to happy to then a high point and then bring us back home happy. Then, yes, a very key part also, you pointed out that it's important when that as contestants to look at the judging ballots, be sure you know what is being looked out for and incorporate that in your speeches and in how you present. Then to select a relatable topic, which is something you stressed when you answered Toastmaster Ebube now, and also effective vocal variety. I don't know if I missed anything else, but yes, this is actually really, really good. These are some of the points that I put together, and I hope that if you missed it, don't worry, come and pay me. I have notes for you. Thank you. If there are no further questions, it's time to let Toastmaster Winston go to sleep. All right. So if we don't have any further, we do not have questions. Okay. So we don't have any further questions. Thank you again. Toastmaster Winston, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you. And we will definitely come back for more gems. The secret tip. The next one is going to be how you coach champions to win. No, we are winning this time. I know that we are coming. I will send everybody on this call to come and meet you. Thank you very much. Now, without wasting too much of our time, because it looks like I am just going on and on with the thanks. I'm just begging him really so that he can give us tips. Next is we have another amazing speaker who would be giving us tips on how to excel at evaluations. Now, I'm going to grab his profile real quick. Evaluation is a tricky part for me, so I am going to be listening even twice as much as I listened for the international speech or for the judging part of this session. So our next speaker is no stranger to almost everyone on the call. He's a doctor of English. Is a professional speaker and elocution expert. He facilitates a monthly speaking clinic for children and a quarterly eloquence course for career professionals. He's passionate about helping people to become proficient in diction, grammar, vocabulary, business communication, and presentation skills. He graduated with a distinction from the FRCN training school in 2016, and he's certified to teach English worldwide by the International TEFL Training Institute, New York, USA. Besides, he is the author of the best-selling grammar book entitled Elevate Your Expressions. In 2021, he received the Linguistic Master Award for the MPW Toastmasters Club, New York, and he is the 2021 District Evaluation Champion. Please welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster Craig Esode. Welcome, Toastmaster Craig.
Our program quality director, Toastmaster Ayatola Olariwaju, thank you most kindly for your reverberating introductory remarks. Fellow Toastmasters, tonight I'm going to share with you almost everything I know about evaluation, and my expectation is that you would add them to everything you know about evaluation. And what's going to be the results? I trust you'd be unstoppable. As a consequence, it is of paramount significance for you to open the ocean of your mind so that you can learn as much as possible from this engagement. I'm going to stop speaking at 9:20. Thereafter, we can segue into a Q&A to piggyback on a particular point that DTM Winston established a smattering of minutes ago. It is crucial to acquaint yourself with the judging criteria before delving into a contest. And not acquainting yourself with the judging criteria is like storming into a battlefield blindfold, or it's like storming into the battleground with a gun or pistol that is bereft of bullets. Consequent upon the foregoing, first of all, I'd like us to blitz through the judging criteria, the ballot for the Toastmasters speech evaluation competition. There are 4 elements, 4 items on the radar screen of the judges. What are these 4 items? I suppose that is the indispensable question. All right, the first item on the judging criteria is analytical quality. And according to the ballot, your analysis has 40 points. It's got to be clear plus focused. Next item, recommendations. Your recommendations have got to be positive, specific, plus helpful. That's 30 points. Next is your technique. Your technique has got to be sympathetic, sensitive, and motivational. That's 15 points. Last but not least, you have summation. Your summation will command a whopping 15 points on the judging criteria. In total, you have a whopping 100 points. This is the foundation of your preparation for the speech evaluation competition. Acquainting your mind with the judging criteria. In 2021, when I entered the competition for the second time, having lost at the division level in 2020, I was searching broadly for secrets that I could take into the competition. And you know something? I discovered a particular structure. And I will share this structure with you now. I discovered a particular structure in 2021 when I was preparing to compete at the level of the division in 2021. I discovered a specific structure. What is this structure? If you have a pen with you, if you have a pen, a book with you, I would encourage you to take notes. Take notes. Verbal, valent, scriptamanent. Verbal, valent, scriptamanent. Spoken words will fly away, but written words will remain. a Latin phraseology. Spoken words will fly away, but written words will remain. The faintest ink is more powerful than the strongest memory. Take notes. Add these insights to your quiver of evaluation skills. Whether you're a contestant or you simply want to enhance the quality of your evaluation in club meetings. What's the structure? Here is the structure. Well, the structure is premised on the commendation, recommendation, commendation template. But this one, first commendation, examples. Second commendation, examples. First recommendation, examples. Second recommendation, examples. Best commendation, examples. Summation, then closing statements. To recapitulate that, your opening, your first commendation, examples. Second commendation, examples. First recommendation, examples. Second recommendation, examples. Best commendation, examples. Summation, closing statement. This is the structure I used for the division as well as the district levels in 2021. Something I discovered through broad explorative research. But that is a structure I used in 2021, and I still use it to date. So my second tip is you need to have a solid structure for your evaluation. A solid structure will give your evaluation a sense of direction. A sense of direction. Moreover, a solid structure will make your evaluation easy to follow. Easy to follow. My second point is you need to premise your evaluation on a solid, imperishable structure. You could do commendation, examples. Second one, examples. Third one, examples. First recommendation, examples. Second recommendation, examples. Then summation, closing statement. Verity Price used this approach when she won the District 74 Evaluation Championship in 2015. Verity Price, for the record, is the Toastmasters 2021 World Champion of Public Speaking. A solid structure. My next point, which is crucial, is provide examples for every point that you will enunciate or reference in your evaluation structure. Provide examples. I love your use of body language. No examples. You use vocal variety. No examples. If you don't provide examples, you don't expect to earn a top band score as far as the quality of your analysis is fundamentally concerned. You cannot. For every point, provide examples. Oh, I was enthralled by gesticulation, especially when you did this in the middle section of the speech. Example. Oh, I was enchanted by the eloquence of your lexicon. You used words such as this, 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 this. You excelled in the use of rhetorical devices. For example, I heard you say, shine like the apples of gold in settings of silver. What a brilliant use of simile. Examples. That's the key. As often as not, we tend to provide evaluations without examples. Someone said, what you can assert without examples, without evidence, can be dismissed without evidence. If you wish or aspire to get a high score as far as the quality of your analysis is concerned, examples ought to be indispensable to the content of your evaluation. When you provide an example, the speaker, the judges, the audience members have something to hold on to. But no examples, the evaluation will sound hazy, unclear. To sound unclear to the test speaker, to the judges, to the audience members, sound unclear. Anyone on the call can say the same thing. But showcase the fact that you listened to the speaker by authenticating or justifying your point with examples from the speech. It's a demonstration of your listening abilities. And you convey that you were respectful enough to listen to the speaker. Replete your evaluation with examples. Examples for every point. When I was preparing for the district in 2021, I made a deliberate decision. I will not mention anything for which I have no example to justify or authenticate. I will not. It's better to leave it completely than mention it and you're not able to authenticate or justify it with evidence, an example from the speech. It was a deliberate decision. As often as not, I hear people say in our club meetings or even in contests, oh, your speech has an opening or a body and a closing. Have you ever seen a speech without an opening, a body, and a closing? How do you prove that? How do you justify that with an example? That may not appeal, that may not help the speaker or the judge, or it's not going to appeal to the judges when you say something like that in an evaluation contest. Your speech has an opening, a body, and a closing. The word speech has these elements. The opening could be ineffective. The body could be ineffective. The closing could be ineffective. But every speech, excellent or atrocious, has these elements: opening, body, closing. That's not something you want to do in an evaluation contest, because you would have no evidence to justify it. Provide examples. Provide examples. Provide examples. Examples speak a million words. Examples speak a million words. Examples speak a million words. Can I hear everybody say, examples speak a million words? Say that with me, please.
Examples speak a million words.
Examples speak a million words. The next point I'd like to mention would be prove your point. I usually don't say this when I go for evaluation workshops or training programs. Prove your point. Prove your point. Prove your point. You want to make it clear to the judges that you understand the importance of these stylistics of speaking: posture, verbal modulation or vocal flexibility, or speech correctness, grammar, pronunciation. Prove your point. Quotation, prove your point. What I mean is, why should we care about quotation in a speech? That's what I mean by proving your point. Prove your point. All right, mention it. You excelled in the use of a thought-provoking quotation. For example, say it. Give the speaker the quotation. For example, you said, The time is always right to do what is right by Martin Luther King Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, or you say, fellow Toastmasters and guests, quotes are indispensable to speech effectiveness because they help to reinforce our message. Prove the point. Do not say you told a story or I like the story you told. That's not the way to do it. You told a story about how you went to the village and you saw your grandmother after donkey's years. That's how you need to say it. Example. Prove the point. Why should we care about storytelling in public speaking? Why? Well, stories help to make our message more memorable, or stories help to make our message more relatable. Prove the point. And this is why I recommend that before you delve into the contest, take some time to read the Toastmasters Competent Communication Manual. That can help. It has 10 projects, or it is comprised of 10 projects. It is going to help you tremendously to peruse the content of the Toastmasters Competent Communication Manual. That will empower you to learn about why it is critical to focus on, well, body language or vocal variation or other elements or other stylistics of speaking. The Toastmasters Competent Communication Manual will help you to achieve this goal. Prove your point. Other contestants may turn a blind eye to this. What would distinguish you from them is your ability to provide example. Prove your point. Prove your point. Prove your point. Don't forget that. Prove your point. Provide example. Prove your point. And when it comes to proving your point, this is the time you can turn to the audience members, because as often as not, we make evaluation a one-to-one communication approach. All right. If the contest were physical, you realize that your body will tilt. Your body naturally or instinctually would tilt to the direction of the test speaker. In doing so, you will ignore other audience members. That is the danger of using you. The evaluation is not only meant for the test speaker, it's meant for everyone. It is therefore a public speaking gig. Make your evaluation a performance. That's my next point. Make your evaluation a performance. If you're going to use you, that's all right. That was my approach at the district in 2021. You. But when it comes to proving your point, turn to the audience members. Ladies and gentlemen, we use narratives or anecdotes in public speaking because they help to make our message more memorable. And then you go to the next point. On top of that, you excel in prove your points. But to summarize, I've spoken about familiarizing yourself with the criteria for judging. I've spoken about having a solid structure for your evaluation. I mentioned in your hearing that you learned that it is imperative to provide examples for every point that you intend to reference in the structure of your evaluation. Additionally, prove your point. Prove the points. All right, you use vocal. Why is vocal variation critical in public speaking? Oh, body language. Why is body language critical in public speaking? Or you pronounced your words with correctness. Why is pronunciation critical in public speaking? Oh, grammar. Why is grammar critical in public speaking? Why should we care about grammar? Why should we care about speech development? or props. Why? Always address the why. If you want to have a place in space, so you want to have your place on the radar screen of the judges, go that extra mile to prove your point. The next point I'd like to mention would be recommendations. Recommendations. Your recommendations, according to the criteria, has got to be sympathetic, sensitive, motivational. Let me just give some tips here. One, don't overwhelm the speaker with a plethora of recommendations. I feel that 3 recommendations can be overwhelming, overpowering. 3, overpowering. Moreover, 3 recommendations will hamper your time management effort. 3, how would you analyze 3 recommendations? How? Those 30 points are not dependent on the quantity of your recommendations. They are dependent on the quality of your recommendations and how you present them to the speaker. Work on your body language. That's not too helpful. Work on your pronunciation. That's not too helpful. Show it. Show and tell. Show it to the speaker. Show it to this. Show it to this. Show it. Provide an example in the speech and show it to the speaker. And recommend how you feel it can be better and why the speaker and the audience members may consider. No one is under any obligation to accept or implement our recommendations. May consider. Why this test speaker or the audience member may. Why do you feel that they may consider that element of speaking? All right. Your opening was not effective. How do you feel that the opening could have been more effective? All right. You feel that a quotation or a question would have opened the speech with power and purpose. Provide the question. Provide the quote. This quotation by, you give the quotation in your evaluation or your recommendation. Provide the quotes. Do not simply say, use a quote next time to open the speech. Provide a quote. Use a question. Provide a question. That's more helpful to the speaker. At least that is, you have shown the speaker some light, how to begin to address that speech impediment. The recommendation has to be helpful to the speaker. The last tip I'd like to share with you so that I can move on to something else would be, you don't have time. No time. You have just minimum speaking time, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Maximum speaking time, 3 minutes, 30 seconds, according to the timing of speeches section of the rule book. If you are still commending the speaker, and the green card is up, your evaluation may be in serious trouble because you will overextend your time allotment. You may have to sacrifice 15 points summation for that. It is of paramount significance in an evaluation context to delve into your recommendations before the green card. Recall, the green card will be up at 2 minutes. The green card is about 2 minutes. You have just 1 minute, 30 seconds left. Delve into your recommendations before you see the green card. Delve into the impact zone. This is the crux of your evaluation. It's where we learn and grow. Delve into that zone before you see the green card. I am speaking from experience. In 2020, I was in the contest. I was disqualified for exceeding 3 minutes 30 seconds. I had to polish this area in 2021, and my spouse was helpful. I would evaluate, she would give me feedback on my timing. You're not doing too well on the timing. Great. Come on, wake up. I learned in a hard way that it is cardinal or crucial to delve into the recommendation zone before you see the green card. I will not overstate this point. Let me move on to something else. Don't forget to do a summation. It's 15 points, summation. 15 points, summation. What will engrace you to provide a summation that is concise and succinct would be mention them. It makes the job easy for you, easy for the test speaker, easy for the judges, easy for everyone on the call who will learn something from your commendations as well as your recommendations. Mention it. Say, number one, all right, you see, is take your pen during those 5 minutes you have a preparation. Take your pen and your evaluation notes. Write it. One, vocal variation. Be clear about it. 2, posture. The speaker possibly excel in the department of posturing or gesticulation. Mention it. Gesticulation. 2. First recommendation, well, ineffective opening. You feel that the opening can be better. Write it down. 4, you feel that the speaker did not use figurative language in certain areas where you feel that using simile or metaphor alliteration would have enhanced the impact of the idea the speaker was trying to convey. Write it down. Rhetorical language. Then best recommendation, right? Lexicon or vocabulary, the eloquence of your vocabulary. Write it down. Then, when you want to do your summation, it makes the job easy for you, my leaders. All right. To summarize on a summation, I recommend that when you want to delve into your summation in a contest, do not use to summarize or to recap. Use the language engraved on the judging criteria for the contest. If you look at the judging criteria, it's not summarized, summation. Use that language. It makes the job easy for the judges to give you your 15 points. Say it like this. In summation, you excelled in, hey, you look at your list, excelled in vocal variation, gesticulation. In terms of recommendation, you may consider using a quote for your opening and rhetorical devices. You excelled highly in the domain of lexicon. Ladies and gentlemen, I emphatically conclude our test speaker has the potency to become, and you wrap it up. The speaker will feel elevated. The judges would ask, oh, if I were in his shoes, how would I feel? This is remarkable. This is remarkable evaluation. So use that line in summation. In a club meeting, you can say in summary or to recap, to recapitulate. You can be playful with your words. But in a contest, my recommendation would be say in summation. In summation. When I went to the contest in 2021, especially at the district, I planned everything meticulously before I logged in. And I was using that plan to practice across clubs in New York, in England, in Canada, Nigerian clubs too. I would, you know, I was practicing so that the words will come out of me naturally in the context. I will not say to summarize instead of saying summation. I therefore had to practice to implant the words I would use, the phrases, the transitions into the fabric of my mind. I recommend the same. Evaluation is not completely an impromptu speaking engagement. You can plan. You can even plan your opening, plan your closing before you log in. You can plan everything, your opening, your closing, your adjectives, your transitions. Plan everything with meticulous attention or with surgical care before you log in for the contest. Let's see, I suppose, please forgive me. I can be carried away when I student evaluation. Let me see if I can. Let's see this. Oh, I beg your pardon. Let's watch this video of an evaluation champion. Can you all see my screen at the moment? If you type a Y in the chat channel, if you can't, type an N in the chat channel. Oh, all right, it's still loading. Can you, if you can't type a Y in the chat channel, if you can't type N in the chat channel, please? Can you? Ayatollah, can you see my screen? All right,
Yes,
brilliant,
I can see
brilliant.
screen. Yeah.
All right, brilliant. All right, let us watch this evaluation champion.
Drill lot 1, contestant number 5.
Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and our test speaker, Graham. Thank you, Graham, for your uplifting speech that inspired us with a lesson that time is not to be wasted, but appreciated. Graham spoke with passion and enthusiasm, which are imperative when you're trying to inspire an audience with optimism and hope. True inspiration comes about when 1, the speaker builds an emotional rapport with the audience, and 2, gains the audience's trust. I believe that Graham achieved both these objectives. As for Graham's ethos, I thought he was credible because he was knowledgeable about not wasting time, and he had spoke from personal experiences, been there, done that, and these are the lessons for the other people. I felt that his credibility was enhanced by his executive presence. His attire was a symbol of how he was going to communicate his role to others as well as his authority on the subject. As for his pathos, he built emotional rapport through storytelling. Storytelling is a social lubricant that brings people together. And those poignant stories of regret about not taking his children to school and not reading them bedtime stories broke up the barrier between the speaker and the audiences. And they were powerful tools to connect with the heart and change the minds. I have a couple of suggestions for Graham. My first suggestion is if Graham could condense the core message in a speech into one sentence of no more than 10 words, what I call a foundational phrase, a pithy, punchy statement of his passion and his conviction. For example, time not to be wasted, but appreciated. And that he could repeat 2 or 3 times at the appropriate parts of the speech so that it becomes a mantra that the listeners can take away, remember, and use at a later date. My second suggestion is for Graham in an inspirational speech to litter the speech with rhetorical devices such as similes, metaphors, alliteration. One that comes to mind is time is like death. It adds style and rhythm to the speech, and it influences the listener's behavior behaviors, and attitudes. And that's exactly what you want to do in an inspirational speech. My final commendation for Graham is that he engages in a manner that is so vital in an online speech because the audience can get distracted easily. He had copious content and the speech flowed fluently. In summary, Graham today delivered an inspirational speech about the importance of not wasting time, but appreciating it. I thought that he had credibility from his knowledge and experience and his attire. I felt that he made emotional connection through his stories with his family members, and my two suggestions are to have a foundational phrase which sums up his passion and conviction, and to use rhetorical device, which is so important when you're trying to inspire an audience. Contest chair.
Thank you.
All right, District 112 champion in 2022. Examples. He proved the point. He did a summary. That's an effective evaluation. All right. Fellow Toastmasters and our guests, can you all hear me? Can you all still hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, then do a summation. All right. Now let me just share two more points with you before I wrap up, and then listen to questions. Hopefully, I'll be able to provide more insights during the Q&A section. That's if you have any question or questions to ask. You have to be unique in a contest. You have to be unique in a contest environment. You have to be unique. There are some ways to achieve that uniqueness. Number one, the use of language. The use of language. You don't want to get into a contest with words such as amazing, awesome, wonderful, beautiful. You can use these words in a club meeting, but in a contest, try to make the effort to excavate the synonyms of these words. Use enthralling, enchanting, intriguing, wonder-filled, fascinating. Use those words, mesmerizing. Use those words, scintillating in a contest. Be creative with your language in a contest. Be creative with your language. Secondly, don't focus on the obvious elements of public speech. Body language, well, that may not work too well in a contest. Vocal variety, well, that may not work too well in a contest. If you wish to use all of those elements, perhaps rephrase vocal variety, call it verbal modulation, or call it vocal flexibility. If you wish to refer to body language, be specific. Body language encompasses body movement, posture, gesticulation, facial expressions. Focus on one. Let's zero in facial expressions as opposed to saying body language, which is generic. Be specific. Facial expressions. That would sound a bit fresh. For this, I recommend that you look at the judging criteria for the International Speech Contest for inspiration. You see speech correctness, you see manner, you see speech development, effectiveness, speech value. Look at that document for inspiration. That's going to help you an awful lot. Look at that document for inspiration. You have to be creative. You have to be creative with your language. Go deep. Look at that champion.
Okay. Good evening again, everyone. I think Toastmaster Craig has some network issues. While we wait for him to log back on, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat so that this can be faster for when it comes. Okay, no, Toastmaster Igolo. Apparently, I thought it was my network as well. So I think it's the one.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Okay, so we just give him a minute to return. Check on him. Okay, I'm unable to connect with him yet, but we'll just give it 2 minutes, and if it doesn't come, I think it's already wrapping up. And I don't see any questions in the chat yet. So, okay, so this is what we're going to do. If you have any takeaways from both sessions, okay, yeah, okay, questions.
Yes, just
Okay. So that's let's just wait. Okay, so if you have any takeaways from today's session that you could drop in the chat, let's just drop that in the chat while we wait, just in case someone missed something, so that we can at least refresh our mind as we wait. I'm still trying to connect those, so hopefully it returns now or soon. Okay. So semester Igolo for the international speeches, try to create zones for different characters in your speech so as to show transition. 100%. I mean, well, I should know this, but somehow I feel like I just walk around the stage. Like, why should I rent a space for you on one side of the stage? But now it makes absolute sense. Any other takeaway?
it's hard
Yeah.
to start creating all those, because you have to remember where the person was.
Do you
And
understand?
you're setting yourself up for failure.
Because sometimes you may have assigned one place to home and you walk back there when you are talking of work.
Exactly. It just makes
And
more
so,
sense to just stay, I mean, use the stage, but not necessarily
yeah.
assign somewhere to that.
Mhm.
Maybe they need to find a workaround.
Right. You have to find it. Just just somehow do a mental, okay, let me not go, because no, I don't know. There was a time I watched someone speak and they were looking at the same direction that they looked at when they were talking to someone, and it felt like they were speaking from the same angle. I'm like, no, that's a mistake. But yes, I made the mistake even after watching that. Because your mind just goes off, especially when you have your speech crammed and you just
Yeah.
want to go. You just want to be done. People are staring at me. I need to get out of here.
You just really it up for them. And like, now be
Yeah.
creating. I'm like, well, anyway, Sha, it's a learning curve for us also.
Yes, 100%.
Hopefully.
Okay. Are you participating in evaluation or international speech?
Evaluation.
Oh, okay. Good. Coming to watch.
Yeah. Why are you trying
Okay, I
to
believe.
up?
Hello.
Don't worry.
Fellow
You're
Toastmasters.
welcome back.
I am back.
Welcome.
I am back. All right. In summation,
Right.
familiarize yourself with the judging criteria, have a solid structure, provide examples, prove your points, provide quality recommendations, do a summation, make it a performance, be unique. Ladies and gentlemen, sow these seeds, and the flowers that will spring forth will blow your mind. I will now relinquish control to the moderator to allow room for questions. Possibly I'll be able to share more insights. Back to you, convivial moderator, Toastmaster Ayotola.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Craig. That was indeed a wealth of knowledge that you have shared with all of us. And I had like recap here, or should I say summation of your presentation to share, but you already did that. So I will not go over it again. Whilst you were away, I asked the questions we dropped in the chat, and we have questions. So question from Toastmaster Igolo. Did you say we should use the word in summation or in summary when concluding? And there's another question, so maybe you can pack it together. Essentially, in everything we do or say, we should find an example right, at the risk of droning on when using big words. Okay, when using big words, won't it be better to be succinct? Okay, so these are the questions. So I'll take it again. Did you say we should use? All right, good.
Thank you very kindly. The first question is, do you say we should use summation or in summation or in summary? My response would be using summation. Summation is what is engraved on the judging criteria. So using summation will make the job easy, will make it graceful or easy for the judges to score you. So use in summation instead of in summary. It's a regular club meeting, you can use in summary. But in a contest, my recommendation is use in summation.
Okay.
What's the second question again, please?
Second question is, essentially, in everything we do or say, we should find an example, right? And I think it continues to say, at the risk of droning on